Xin chào các anh chị và các bạn. Hôm nay cảm ơn các anh chị và các bạn đã tới dự buổi hội thảo do trường đại học CORP UCC và công ty SmartA tổ chức để giới thiệu về chương trình dược ở chương trình thạc sĩ dược ở tại trường. Ireland là một trong Ireland được gọi là thung lũng silicon của châu Âu và cũng là một trong những cường quốc dược trên thế giới. Đây là nơi có số người làm việc, có tỷ lệ người dân số làm việc ở trong cái ngành công nghiệp dược lớn nhất ở châu Âu, và cũng là đất nước mặc dù chỉ có 5 triệu dân thôi nhưng họ xuất khẩu dược lớn thứ hai của châu Âu. Và hôm nay chúng em rất vui được giới thiệu trường đại học Cork, ranking top 2% trên thế giới và cũng đứng thứ 66 thế giới về dược, sẽ giới thiệu về học bổng, giới thiệu về chương trình dược, thạc sĩ dược của trường. Em xin giới thiệu trước hết là thầy Garrod McCarthy sẽ giới thiệu chương trình ạ. Hi Garrod.
Thanks, Na. Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody from Ireland and from Cork, and good evening to you, wherever you are located there in Vietnam. I've had the chance to visit you there in Vietnam on many occasions. I love visiting there, especially Hanoi. So thanks again for taking the time today. So as Na said, and I'd like to thank SmartA again for the opportunity to allow us to come here today to present to you. And we work very closely with SmartA, and we have worked with them for a number of years. So thank you again. My name is Garrod McCarthy. I work as the International Manager for our Faculty of Medicine and Health at UCC. And of course, that includes, importantly, our School of Pharmacy, which is a very well-known bachelor and master's degree in pharmacy, but also today some new programs related to industrial pharmacy and industrial pharmaceutics, which Dr. Evan Allen will talk to you a little bit about in a moment. But first of all, I think it's important to introduce you a little bit to Ireland. So you saw that video earlier. I think it showcases our campus really well. We're a very, very old campus. And as you can see, and I hope you thought, it's quite a beautiful campus too. So I'm just going to share a couple of slides here now. And I hope everybody can see that now that it's in full presenter mode. So moving quickly there. So Ireland, as you saw on the map in the video, Ireland is quite a small country to the west of the United Kingdom, an English-speaking country, approximately 5 million people. So compared to Vietnam, our population is really, really small. But as I said, we're an English-speaking country. We're a highly globalized country. We have international airports all around the country, so it's easy to access us. And as you can see from the pin drop, we are located in the south part of the island. The capital city is Dublin, which is about 2.5 hours by the motorway driving. And Cork, where we are located, is the second largest city in Ireland. We have approximately 250,000 people in Cork City. So Cork is a very interesting city. It's a very fun city. In fact, it's a student city. We have approximately 50,000 students in Cork City. So of a total population of 250,000, 1 in 5 people in Cork City is a student. And our university, UCC, has a lot of those students, approximately 25,000. But the reason that I'm telling you about all of these students is it really makes a good energy in the city. And when you walk around, you can see that it feels like a very young and dynamic and multicultural city. There's lots of music and art and culture and restaurants and food and a little bit of partying, like the students like to do sometimes, if you want to do that. So it really is a good place, not just to study, but also to feel like you are part of a young, energetic city. Of course, it isn't all fun in Cork, and Cork is a very serious area in terms of its business, and in particular, pharmaceuticals. So we have a very important IT base, all in Ireland, but also in Cork. So for example, Apple has their European headquarters here in Cork City. Dell Technologies has a major center here and their global center of excellence. We also have financial services, food and beverage, food flavoring making, but most importantly, our pharma and biopharma sector is huge. Ireland is one of the largest exporters of medicine in the world. So it ranks in the top 5. And not just Ireland, but specifically Cork is that most important place in Ireland for pharma and biopharma. You all know companies such as Pfizer, but we also have large production facilities for companies like GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, Johnson & Johnson, Jensen, Novartis, all of the big guys. 8 out of the top 10 biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world have a major location here in Cork. And our university has a lot of applied research and a lot of collaboration with these companies. And this is what Dr. Allen will explain to you in a moment. But I just want to give you a top-level view of what's happening in Ireland. So Cork, a really good place to study and be a student, but also a serious place to progress your career and to have opportunities to some of the biggest global companies. And I should also mention that on your doorstep, outside of Cork City, you have some beautiful scenery, beautiful old castles, walking, hiking, beaches. So if you want to get out of the city and think carefully about your study or your life, there are some really nice places to walk and to hike around the city a short distance away. Our university is very, very old. It's one of the oldest in all of the UK and Ireland. In fact, I think it ranks in the top 10 oldest universities in all of the UK as well as Ireland, even though we're separate countries now. And it's about 200 years old. And as you can see from this picture, it's very idyllic. It's located in the city centre, so we're very lucky to have so much space for a city centre location and still able to have some green gardens, or as you can see from this image, our wildflower meadow, which we grow in the summertime. We have approximately just over 24,000 students. The icon there is a little bit old information, and we have more than 4,000 international students. And we had 132 different countries represented last year. We have a lot of students from Vietnam who come to study in Ireland, especially to do our 5-year program in pharmacy. So pharmacy is very attractive to them. But of course, we also have Vietnamese students doing their master's degrees in business and science and engineering. And we have strong partnerships with Vietnam National University. So especially Vietnam National University for Agriculture and Vietnam National University for Economics. So we have strong ties in academia and research between Vietnam and UCC. We've lots of clubs and societies. You saw some of the pictures earlier in that video. Whatever sport you're interested in, there's something there for you. Whatever your hobby is, there's something there for you. Whether you enjoy debating or philosophy or indeed Harry Potter. We have a really large Harry Potter society because our university looks a little bit like Hogwarts. There's something there for you to join. Importantly, we were the first university in the world to get the green flag for environmental sustainability. So the environment and sustainability is something we take really, really seriously. And this is something that is driven with the collaboration of our staff and our students. So they work together to make sure we are really sustainable in our approach to the university and to living. The image on the right is George Boole. For those of you that are very interested in mathematics, George Boole was our first professor of mathematics at UCC. He is the guy who came up with Boolean algebra or Boolean logic. So we all have smart devices today, smartphones. We should say thank you to him because it was his ideas that laid the foundation for the digital age that we have today. So just to give you an overview, a literal overview of our campus here, in the middle, you can see our beautiful quadrangle, which was built in 1845. We were originally known as Queen's University, but when Ireland became independent from the UK, we changed the name to UCC, University College Cork. As well as having a beautiful, ancient, traditional campus, we have very, very modern facilities. So around all of it, you can see our science and engineering buildings, our health sciences complex, our School of Pharmacy, which is a very new building, less than 20 years old, very high-tech building, where you would be based if you come to study a program in pharmacy. And it's in the city centre. So we have our sports facilities very close by. There is accommodation for you very close by, and then in 10 minutes, you can walk into the city centre. So if you come to study and live in Cork, you have the feeling that you're in a big, multicultural, cosmopolitan city, but you can walk everywhere. So that's really nice. And international students really love that feeling about being in Cork. So we're University College Cork, and sometimes students ask me, are you a college or are you a university? We're a university, but we have that old traditional college model. So a bit like University College London, we're University College Cork. We have 4 colleges or 4 faculties within the university. And the one that's important for you today is our college or our faculty of medicine and health. And in that, we have 6 schools. We have our School of Pharmacy, School of Medicine, School of Dentistry, School of Nursing, School of Public Health, and our School of Clinical Therapies. And I should say that our School of Pharmacy is one of the highest ranked schools at UCC and indeed Ireland, and it ranks in the top 100 globally. So when you come to study with us, we want to make sure that you do really well. Now, if you're coming into an undergraduate program, we would give you a mentor or a buddy system, someone from a senior year. If you come into a postgraduate or a master's degree program, of course, there is strong support and mentorship within the program. So Dr. Evan Allen can mention a little bit more in a moment about the support that they will give you in his master's degrees. But as well as specific pharmacy support, we have lots of university support that you can have. So for example, if you're not confident about your English language, we have a language center and you can sign up to get free language classes every week to continue to practice your reading and your writing and your listening and your speaking. We have a skills center, which you can, if you want to maybe develop your presentation skills or your report writing skills, you can sign up and do a program in our skills center. If your mental health isn't great and your well-being, or you're feeling stressed, or you're maybe a bit homesick or something, we have our student health and well-being. So there's lots of support for you there. So as a result, students who come to UCC, especially international students, have very successful outcomes because they take advantage of the supports that we have, and as a result they will start and they will successfully complete. And of course, in Ireland and at UCC, if you finish a master's degree program, you can automatically stay in Ireland for 2 years to look for a job. Ireland's economy is really good at the moment. We're one of the richest countries in Europe. We have one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. Our salaries are very high. Our GDP is our GDP per head of population is one of the highest in the world. So a lot of people don't know about Ireland. So you're being told a good secret here today. If you come here, we're the only English speaking country now in the European Union, which is the largest trading bloc in the world. So of course, if you want to get into the pharmaceutical industry, you have an English-speaking country that's very developed and has a huge pharma sector right in front of you that you can use for your advantage and your life and your career. So of course, we have lots of accommodation options. There are student complexes located all around the campus. When you apply to UCC, you will get a letter offer, and that will give you the option to choose your accommodation. So make sure to do that. So I'm going to stop talking about Cork and UCC now, and I'm going to pass you over to Dr. Allen, who will speak to you a little bit more about the 2 master's degree options that we have on offer within the School of Pharmacy. So thank you.
Thank you, Garrod. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. So before I start, I just want to say thank you today for your for the opportunity to speak. I'm not sure, am I in the right sharing mode there? Garrod, you might tell me if I'm if it's coming up in slideshow or not.
You are, well, we can see the second slide that you're going to show. So
Oh yeah, 1 second there now. I'll just swap. It's better, I guess.
yeah, that's perfect now. 1 slide. Yeah.
Super. So yeah, so hello and welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Evan Allen. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today to you guys. Unlike Garrod, I've only been to Vietnam once. I had a great opportunity to travel to Ho Chi Minh City and to Nha Trang and Mui Ne, and it's a beautiful country, Vietnam. So really delighted to be speaking with you today, and hopefully in the future I will get to visit Hanoi and Ha Long Bay. So my background is I'm a lecturer in the School of Pharmacy here in UCC as part of the Industry for Education initiative, which is also known as IED Hub. And this is a new project that the university has developed to make sure that our education is very much focused towards the pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical sectors in Ireland, because as Garrod outlined, Ireland is a massive hub for pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceuticals, and therefore the government said, you know, how do we ensure that we've got a strong workforce both for today, tomorrow, but also in 5 and 10 years time, and it gave a number of funding grants to different universities to develop programs, and UCC was one of the grant application winners, where we put forward a proposal called IED Hub Industry for Education to develop new programs for the pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical sector, and that's where and how I came to work in University College Cork. My background is I'm a pharmacist. I studied pharmacy in UCC and then did a PhD also in UCC, along with one of our research institutes called Tyndall Research Institute, on the area of vaccines and vaccine delivery. And then I worked for a number of years in Sanofi, which is originally a French pharmaceutical company. I worked in the Irish operations in Ireland in manufacturing, and then I worked in our development labs for Sanofi in France for a number of years. And then I came back to Ireland to work in MSD, so Merck Sharp and Dome, in their manufacturing plant here in Ireland. And so I suppose as part of the IED Hub, the Industry Education Hub, we said, how do we make programs better for students and better for industry? And one of the things was that we should hire people from industry into a university so that the lectures, the practicals, the tutorials are very industry applicable, and so that you really get a good understanding of what industry is like ever before you go into industry. And so that's a bit of the background as to how I came to UCC and how we developed these programs. So maybe just to kind of recap on what Garrod said about Ireland. Ireland is a manufacturing hub for pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceuticals. In terms of the pharmaceutical life cycle, we start with, we identify that there's a particular disease we want to treat. We identify how that disease works, and then we develop a molecule, either a chemical or a biological molecule, to attack that disease. And then we develop the formulation, and then we make that formulation, and then that medicine is then sold to the market. And we also then have clinicians and clinical affairs practitioners like doctors, pharmacists that work with the hospitals and the community pharmacies to inform those healthcare professionals how the drug works and how you should counsel patients and how you should administer the drugs. So the pharmaceutical life cycle is very broad. In Ireland, we really focus on the last stage of development and manufacturing. We really don't do a lot of research. That's mainly done in the US or in continental Europe, in the big hubs like London, Paris, Frankfurt. That's where the research and development is really done. And in Ireland, we really focus on the last step of development where we need to scale the process up from making very small batches to making very big batches, because we're now going to go from clinical trials to a commercial medicine that needs to be sold all around the world and in much bigger volumes than what we were supplying to our clinical trials. So that's the box in red, that what we focus in Ireland on. And I suppose why I'm saying this is because, you know, many of you might think, I really want to work in research. In Ireland, we don't really do research, so that's just to let you know. If you're focused on research and development to a certain extent, Ireland and these courses maybe would not be the right fit for you. But if you're very interested in manufacturing and late stage development, these courses would be a great fit for you. So in Ireland, you know, some of you might have chemistry backgrounds, some of you might have biology backgrounds, some of you may have pharmacy backgrounds, or some of you may have just engineering backgrounds. In Ireland, we have many different types of manufacturing factories, starting with organic chemistry to make the active ingredient if it's a chemical, and we also have drug substance for biologics, where we grow our antibodies up from cells into bigger bioreactors and then purifying out our biological medicine. And then we also have the finishing factories where we make tablets or make vials and syringes. So in Ireland, we have all of these different types of factories. So in terms of the opportunities for students upon graduating, there's multiple different opportunities. So for example, if you are very chemistry minded, there's factories for you. If you're very biology focused, there's factories for you. If you're very much more focused on pharmaceutics, there's factories there for you. And then in terms of in each of the factories, we have the similar types of functions and departments, such as quality, engineering, supply chain, technical, production, etc. And so there's multiple different opportunities in terms of different types of factories and different departments or functions within those factories. And then even to go into more detail within each function, so within our technical operations, or you know, there's 4 different types of departments. You've got a technology transfer department, where we focus on bringing the product from research and development to the manufacturing site. We've got process sciences, where we focus on the development of the process. Analytical sciences, where we focus on the development of the test methods. And the validation department, which focus on making sure that the process and the test methods are robust and that they work 100% of the time. So within each of those, on the top, you can see the boxes, the technical operations, quality. There's a number of different departments within those. So you've got multiple different teams and opportunities to work in. So I suppose the message that I'm trying to get across is that within Ireland, there's loads of different opportunities for people to work in very different roles and in different types of factories. So in Ireland, you can get a fantastic experience, and people often move from different factory to different factory, or they move from different team to different team, or from different function to different function. So multiple opportunities in terms of pharmaceuticals in Ireland. So in terms of Cork is the pharmaceutical centre of manufacturing in Ireland. We've got a lot of medical device companies, we've got a lot of pharmaceutical, biopharmaceutical, and then we've got a lot of different companies that have developed to serve those companies. So they might be supplying the raw materials, they might be supplying the equipment, they might be doing consultancy, or they might be small and medium enterprises that supply various different services to the larger companies. So Cork is a very, very buoyant and energetic area in terms of pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceuticals and medical devices. So in terms of recent investments in Cork, we've got I would say well over €500 million worth of investments in the last 2 years in terms of facilities in Cork, and in terms of sustained investment in Ireland as a manufacturing hub. I would estimate that there's been maybe 2 to 3 billion euros worth of investment in new facilities in Ireland in the last 2 to 3 years. So even despite all the pandemic and all the risk, and companies saying let's stop and pause and let's finish the pandemic and let's see then after that how we want to expand, or maybe we don't want to expand, companies have said let's get into Ireland. Let's expand. It's a great place for us to base our companies. We definitely should increase our footprint in Ireland, and that's creating a massive demand for new employees. As Garrod mentioned, Ireland is a very small population of 5 million. There's probably, I'm not sure what the population of Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh is, but it's probably maybe double that of Ireland. So in terms of us getting new students and new graduates in to meet the needs of companies, we really need to develop new programs, and we've developed 2 new programs to meet the needs of industry. So in terms of what industry have been telling us, that they really need people with a T-shaped profile, we call it. So we need people that are technical experts. So you might be a pharmacist, an engineer, a science graduate, and you have strong expertise in your science area, but then you also need to have business skills, teamwork skills, communication skills, so that you can work effectively across all those different departments. So for example, if you're working in the laboratory, that you can work with the team in production, and you can work with the team in supply chain and in projects to make sure that your project that you're working on gets over the line and gets completed on time and on budget. So companies have said, yes, having a degree is a minimum, but we also want people that have broad skill sets and that can really work well in industry, because for us, it's not about being an expert. That's more about research and development teams. We really want people that can work well in teams, that can communicate well, that can manage projects, but also have an understanding of the science that we use to make the products we make. So that's kind of what the companies have asked us to make in terms of degree programs. And so the first program I'm going to present to you is the MSc in Industrial Pharmaceutical Sciences, Operations and Management. So it's a 1-year taught master's with an 8-month industry placement, which we're starting this September. So we will teach 40 of 60 credits in semester 1. So if you start in September, finish semester 1 in December, and then from January to August, you will be going out on placement. For international students, the placement is capped at 6 months because of visa requirements. But so you'll be going out on placement from January to the end of June, working in a company, getting real life experience, but then also on a part-time basis, 2 days in every month, you come back to the university and you do workshops, lectures, practicals, tutorials, so that you're constantly learning and evolving. And then also, while you're out on placement, you will start a project, which will be 30 credits. And so between the 40 credits in semester 1 of teaching, 20 credits in semester 2, so from January to May of teaching, that makes 60 credits. And then in semester 3, you do your 30 credits of your project, which you'll already have started in semester 2, and you do that project on a challenge that the company will give you. And so the project is really about implementing the skills that you've developed through the taught modules and through your experience to deliver an effective outcome for the companies. In terms of our entry requirements, so we're really looking for students that have either an engineering, processor and chemical, really engineering degree, pharmacy students or science students with a level 8 Irish equivalent degree. And so that's typically an undergraduate science degree, and that people that want to work in the manufacturing industry. So really, if you want to do a PhD, this program is not really the best program for you, or if you want to work in research, this program is not really the program for you. We really are looking for candidates that want to work in the manufacturing industry, and that may be in production, it may be in quality, it might be in regulatory affairs, but they're the people we're looking for. In terms of the program itself, the program has been designed with industry, for industry. The modules are really focused on developing students' skills in pharmaceutical sciences. So really in the operations that you would use in the manufacturing. We don't really focus on the theory that much. It's really more how we apply science in the manufacturing industry, and also working on people's leadership and business skills and project management skills, and also setting you up for the future in terms of having data skills and understanding the value of data and digital transformation within the pharmaceutical industry. We also work in terms of the operations side on giving students a good understanding of how pharmaceutical companies work, the different supply chains, and the different ways of working, and also how all the different departments work together. And we also focus on Lean Six Sigma, which is an operational training skill set that allows you to develop processes that are very efficient, are very high quality and very robust, but with a low cost of goods. So it's really, this program is very much focused on developing people that will go straight into the pharmaceutical industry upon completion of the degree program. It's delivered by the School of Pharmacy and also Cork University Business School, or CUBS, so the Department of Management and Marketing and the Department of Business Information Systems. We use in the School of Pharmacy, we've got training facilities for tableting and for biologics, and we also have a training facility which is 20 minutes away from the university that we will also use as part of the training. You will be trained by people like myself that have worked in the pharmaceutical industry. We will also get people that are still working in companies to come in and to give lectures and to give education and training to you, so that you really understand what's happening in industry versus what the theory is, because there's often a big gap between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge in the industry. So we really want to get you up and running, and so that you'll have a very strong opportunity of being employed in the industry afterwards. And also, I suppose the curricula has been developed with industry. We've given the curricula to industry experts, and we've asked them to review it and to make any changes that they deem necessary. And so it's a really very much industry focused program. In terms of the modules, so I've kind of outlined a number of the modules, but in terms of the groupings, they fit into technical or pharmaceutical sciences, quality, where we discuss regulations and good manufacturing practices, as well as validation. We look at operations, and then we also look at the transverse skills. So, for example, if you're maybe at this point in your life, you're not very confident in terms of communication and speaking and interaction and dealing with conflict, these modules will really help you and support your development there. Then we also have 2 electives, so you get to choose whether you want to work on the operational side, or maybe you want to work more future focused on how digital and data is changing how pharmaceutical companies operate, and so they're the 2 elective modules. And as I outlined, there's a 30 credit project that you do while you're on placement. So that's that program. In terms of the training, you'll cover all the different types of factories, both chemical and biological factories. And I suppose in terms of the type of training, we're really we want to use as much digital training as possible, and we'll try and use industry software when we can. And we also, I suppose, will have a lot of support. So in terms of you will get access to on a monthly basis of one-to-one meetings with different lecturers and support staff, so that we really work on how can I improve my CV, so that when I'm going out looking for a job in next August or next September, that I'm in as strong as position as I can. And also, maybe how do I overcome some of the challenges that I may be having at the moment? Because look, we appreciate, if you're coming from Vietnam or India or China or wherever it may be to study in this program, that's a big change, and that can be a challenge. And so we'll have, as Garrod mentioned, the mentorship for you both while you're in university, but also while you're out on placement, so that we don't forget about you, and you'll be coming back to the university every month for 2 days. You'll be doing some online lectures as well during the month, so you'll have an access to meet your classmates virtually and physically throughout the placement process as well. So that's that program, the MSc in Industrial Pharmaceutical Sciences, Operations and Management. And in terms of where we think you'll be able to work, we really see people being able to work across the whole factory, both in technical, in operations, in quality, in supply chain. So you have a lot of different opportunities here to work, and really we're developing people that will become the future leaders and the future managers of pharmaceutical companies in Ireland and globally. And so that's where we're really going with this program. The second program is more research focused in terms of, I mentioned at the start of my presentation that we do a small bit of development in Ireland. So we bridge between the research and development teams in America or in Europe and the manufacturing teams in Ireland. So somebody needs to make sure that those 2 teams talk to each other, and that make sure that the late stage development has been done correctly. And this program really sets you up for that a career in pharmaceutical late stage development. So it's a 1-year program. There is a 2-year part-time program, but I don't think that's applicable to international students. Where again, in terms of entry requirements, we're really looking for science, technology, engineering, or pharmacy students that really want to work in pharmaceutical development. And it's again, it's really to satisfy a need that we have in the industry at the moment. We can't get enough students that have skills, deep technical skills in the manufacturing processes or in the analytical testing processes. So this is really to fill a specific gap that the industry in Ireland has. In terms of the program design, so the project that you will do will be for 70 credits, and then you will do 20 credits of taught modules. The project you will start at in September, and you will work until the following August with a supervisor here in the School of Pharmacy on a very relevant topic. So it has to be a very relevant topic for the pharmaceutical industry, or else it could be challenging for you to get a job in the industry afterwards. And I suppose that was some of the feedback from the pharmaceutical sector, is that we produce a lot of PhD students. However, sometimes the PhD students are in very theoretical areas, and that doesn't really match with what we're manufacturing. So your project will be very focused on the pharmaceutical development and manufacturing, and so that you'll be able to walk straight into a job at the end of the program. And so that's the research project, and we will, if you're unsure about your research skills, everybody does a 5-credit research training module, which will teach you how to be an effective researcher, how to plan experiments, how to analyze data, statistics, and the different types of analytical methods and process methods we have here in the School of Pharmacy. So you will do that in September, and then you'll be ready to start your project in at the end of September. In terms of other modules, you will have a choice of whether you want to do quality and regulatory affair type modules, or whether you want to do some of the other modules that are on the MSc program. The university also has a number of generic and transverse skill modules, such as scientific communication, hardcore statistics, research ethics, etc. And you also have a choice of picking credits there. So in terms of the 20 taught credits, 5 of those are dedicated to research training, and then you have a selection of the other 15 credits. So this is a 1-year program. There is no placement with this program, because you really need to develop your research skills first before you start working in the industry. So that's why there's no placement with this program. And ultimately then you're because of the School of Pharmacy here in UCC, a top 100 School of Pharmacy globally. We have a lot of research with the pharmaceutical industry, so you'll be working on a very relevant project. You're really able to go into a process science or analytical science team at the end of that program, and we have those relationships built up. So it's very much likely that you would be getting a job offer from a company as you start to finish your MRes in industrial pharmaceutics research program. Also, I suppose if you're maybe not sure of, might want to do a PhD in the future, this program would be a good one. It would be better than the MSc program, because it'll give you the research skills. And if there is a possibility, you know, after a year of doing this program, I want to continue researching in the School of Pharmacy. Many of our lecturers always have PhD positions open. You would be in a very competitive position to enter a PhD program at the School of Pharmacy at the end of this program. But again, really, we're trying to develop people to go straight into the industry, and you would definitely be ready to go to work in the pharmaceutical industry, both here in Ireland and abroad. So they're the 2 programs. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll stop there for any questions people might have.
Excellent. Thank you, Evan. You know, there's a great level of detail there. So I know some of you who have joined today are all interested in postgraduate specifically. I'm not sure if Na is there. We don't need to do any additional translation or anything like that?
No, the English is very good, better than me.
Okay. Great. I wasn't sure. So this is a good opportunity for you all. You have one of the academics here, and also somebody who has worked and has significant experience in industry. So if you have questions, now is the time to ask those questions, because it will be difficult to get Dr. Allen again. And, you know, sometimes then people try follow up with emails, but it's better if you can ask the questions now. So please feel free to unmute, or even put it into the chat function or something, but do use the opportunity. We have about another 10 or 15 minutes. Use the opportunity, please, to ask questions.
Okay. Bạn nào có câu hỏi thì có thể trực tiếp đặt câu hỏi. Các em có thể đặt câu hỏi bằng 2 cách. Một là mình sẽ ghi trực tiếp câu hỏi vào cái phần chat bằng tiếng Anh hoặc tiếng Việt cũng được. Thế hoặc là mình có thể trực tiếp là mình bật mic lên và mình trao đổi với các thầy, bởi vì là không phải khi nào mình cũng sẽ có tiến sĩ Ireland tham gia trong cái buổi hội thảo hôm nay. Hôm nay thì chương trình hội thảo của chúng ta sẽ tập trung vào chương trình thạc sĩ dược ở tại trường đại học COP, và đây là một chương trình rất hay vì như các bạn có thể nhìn thấy là cái thời gian chủ yếu của mình sẽ học về thực tế ở trong hãng, cho nên không phải lúc nào mình có những chương trình như vậy. Các bạn có thể đặt câu hỏi luôn nhé. Có ai có câu hỏi không ạ?
Em có câu hỏi ạ.
Ok.
Um, Hello everyone. First, I want to thank all of you for your sharing. My name is Hãng. I have a bachelor degree in pharmacy and I'm working in regulatory affairs. I am very interested in your industrial pharmaceutical science, operation and management master course. I have a little confused about the content of the subject in the course because I searched the link of the master part and but the information of some subject is not presented. So such as the subject bioprocessing unit operation or pharmaceutical operation. I would like to have more information about this model. So may I know when this model will be updated on the web?
Yeah, so I can answer that. So thanks for your question, Hang. In terms of so unfortunately we hyperlink all these modules when they're existing modules, and for this, some of the modules are already existing in the university. The modules that you outlined are new modules, and so our computer system doesn't allow us to publish those until the academic year, the current year, is finished, which will finish in June. So they won't be online until June. However, I'm very happy to share those content in a we have a PDF with all the modules, and I'm very happy to share that with NA and SmartA and to you and to anyone that sees them. So apologies for that. That's an issue at our end. But in terms of the different types of modules, the two modules that you mentioned there, bioprocessing, that's really going to discuss the upstream, downstream biopharmaceutical manufacturing, as well as the fill finish, such as freeze drying, filling, mixing, etc. So really more focused on pharmaceutical sciences for biopharma. And then the operations one is going to really discuss about the how pharmaceutical companies work, how their supply chain works, how the different departments work together, etc. So, but I can share all that information with you guys after this call.
Yes, thank you so much. And I have one more question. Sorry, yep. I just got out of the webinar earlier, so I don't know if you share this information or not, but I do confirm that I would like to ask about the internship periods. Will the student write this based on the theory of all the subject studied, or will the student practice in a fixed position in a specific field in a company?
So, yeah. So you're talking about the project element, is it, Hank?
I cannot imagine what I will practice in the internship. I will practice all the theory that I studied before, or yes.
Oh yeah. So in terms of the project or the internships, so with the internship, we have a dedicated placement coordinator as part of this program who organizes the internships or the placements, and at the moment, we have a number of companies that have that will be offering the placements, and then later in the year, around June, July, they tell us that the placement is going to be in a quality assurance department, or it might be in production, and so you would be based in one of those departments for your 6 months there, and so you'd be mainly. So, for example, if you're in, let's say, you know, I think you mentioned that you work in regulatory affairs, so we would be trying to figure out. We will have a discussion when once you join the program to say, you know, do you want to work in regulatory affairs for the rest of your career, or maybe you said, you know, I've worked there for 2 years. I'm sick of writing regulatory documents, and I never again want to talk to the FDA or to the European Medicines Agency, and you want to work in production. If that was the case, we would try and make sure your internship is in production. We can't guarantee where your placement will be, but if you work in production, you would be mainly focusing on the production type modules. If you're working in quality, you mainly work on the quality type modules. However, with your internship or your placement, we really want students to use all the modules together, because that's what the companies are telling us. The problem is that, you know, a student has a chemistry background and all they want to do is use chemistry, and they don't want to engage with quality, they don't want to engage with production. So we would hope as part of your placement you will really focus on one area, but you will use all what we've taught you to develop in the workplace, and show that, you know, you've got a lot of different skills, not just skills in one area. And your project then will also try and get you to use different aspects from what you've learned, and to apply those in industry.
Yes, I see. Thank you so much. Yes.
No problem. And yeah, so in terms of the placements, as I said, we will organize all that. So, and we will figure out how to where students will be placed. So there's no, in some other programs they may offer placements, but it's up to the student to find a placement. For an Irish student, that's very difficult. For a Vietnamese student, I would say that's nearly impossible, because you don't know anybody here in the companies. But so we take all that problem, and it's the university's problem to find you a placement. So that's one of the advantages of a program like this. And I suppose many other programs, they may cover similar topics, but they don't have a placement. In Ireland, if you really want to work in the industry, people still expect, even though there's a job shortage, that you have industry experience. So displacement is really helpful for to get a job afterwards.
Thanks, Evan. And just a quick one, and I don't mean to put you on the spot with this question, but will students be paid on these placements?
Yes, yeah. So in 99% of cases, students will be paid. It's in Ireland. It's actually so there's a differentiation. Some employers see placements as, you know, a student goes, a student observes what happens in the workplace, and they do this for a number of weeks, and then they go back to the university and they might write, you know, a reflection on my 3 months in industry, but they're never allowed to do anything, or never allowed really to do any work. What we're offering is a work placement. You will be working, you will be doing real life activities, you will be expected to deliver, and because of that, in Ireland, it's actually illegal not to, if you are working, not to pay students. So in that scenario, all placements will be paid. But however, that's an agreement how much you will be paid, what your hours will be agreed between the company and the student themselves. So the university stays out of that. So it's, but generally all placements are paid in pharmaceutical companies. And in Ireland, I suppose the minimum wage at the moment is around maybe I think it's about €1,700 per month. So that's might give people an idea, Garrod, of what they'd be expected. Now, I would say in certain scenarios, you know, let's say if a student was not performing and was failing most of their subjects, in that scenario, we probably would say placement is not the right option, and you would probably do a project within the university. However, I'm sure we only really accept very strong students onto the program, so that won't be occurring in this scenario.
Yeah, sure. You do, and I know you interview a lot of the candidates, so you will see their profile and make sure that they're a good match before you accept them onto the program. Okay, thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Just a couple of questions come in. Someone has asked, I have a background in biotechnology. Is that an appropriate background?
Perfect.
For? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, somebody else saying, I graduated in pharmacy, but my undergraduate is not involved in biopharma, mainly related to simple dosage form. Could I study on this program with that?
Absolutely, and you know, pharmacists in the last 15 years, pharmacists have started to work more and more in the pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical industries in Ireland, and the companies say, we want more and more pharmacy students to work in the companies in Ireland, and it's actually causing a problem because we don't have enough community pharmacists in Ireland, because a lot of them want to actually now work in industry, because industry are offering very attractive salaries and packages. So absolutely, you're you may think that you don't have enough education with the pharmacy degree, but absolutely we're very happy to have pharmacists on this program.
Very good. And they're asking about an interview. So yes, there are interviews, if you want to maybe just speak a moment about that.
Yeah. So look, I suppose because this is a new program, we really want to make sure that number one, that the student matches the program, but also students, we have to realize that the students are making a massive commitment if you're coming from Vietnam to Ireland, and we want to make sure that the program meets the students' needs. I suppose there's a lot of misconceptions in terms of the pharmaceutical industry, even with Irish students, about I want to work in research and development, etc. And so the interview process is not very formal in that sense. It's really more of an opportunity for me to know the student and the student to know me in the program, and then we kind of make sure that the number one, that the student is selecting the program for the right reasons and it meets their career path. So that's really what the interview process is about, making sure that students and the student and the program are a good match, because you know we do offer other programs in the university, and it might be more appropriate to take that program rather than this program. So because it's a new program, we interview everyone, and that's what a lot of it's really about, is making sure that the students are the right fit for the program and vice versa.
Yeah. And you're asking, how do you study well on the program? Well, I guess if you're selected to come in, obviously engage with your classes and attend your classes, and then you know your work experience will be really important. So make sure to follow that. Any chance to do research during the time of the program?
Not really. I suppose in terms of the project, you would be doing a certain level of research in terms of, so for example, if you were working in technical operations, there might be an issue with the tableting process, and you might need to research about different excipients, different formulations, different technologies. So there would be an element of research there, and similar in some of the group projects and some of the practicals, you would need to do a certain level of research. But in terms of academic university research leading to papers and publications, that's not part of this program. For the MSc program, for the MRes program in industrial pharmaceutics, 100% you will be doing research. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you really see your future in research and development, or in university research, the MRes program is the best program for you. If you see yourself in the pharmaceutical industry, the MSc program is your program.
Okay, thanks. Someone is talking about the minimum salary for placement. So I guess you mentioned earlier that the minimum would be 1,700 euros per month as a minimum salary during placement. Of course, when you graduate and go into work in industry, it will be considerably more than that. You know, and I think go online and you can just, you know, Google for yourself average industrial pharmaceutical salaries in Ireland. You'll get a good idea. They're quite high in Ireland. I mean, some of our Vietnamese students who came to do our bachelor and master's degree in pharmacy, the MPharm, which is an integrated bachelor and master's, I know when they have graduated and they have gone to work, for example, in community pharmacy, their salaries are very, very high. You know, 60,000 euros per year plus would be the salaries, and there's a big shortage at the moment in both the community pharmacy and the industrial pharmacy area, so much so that the Irish government has put community pharmacy and industrial pharmacy on their list of what we call the critical skills list. It's a list of areas where we need more people to come into the country to work in those areas. So for those of you that have a background in pharmacy, absolutely Ireland needs additional people like you. And I think doing a program like this will absolutely help you to get into that industry successfully and make the best contacts. And it, you know, because the School of Pharmacy has such strong links with it, it will be really easy. Now, I know somebody has a question about computer science. Lots of computer science jobs in Ireland. We do have a master's in data analytics or also computer science. Very competitive to get into. If you're going to apply as early as possible. NGHIÏ can advise you and SmartA will advise you on getting an early application in because they close applications early. I should say, for this program, I think it will be the same situation in the next couple of years. This is a new program, therefore the demand is growing. I can see it already, but this is probably a good moment for you guys to apply, because I imagine come next year or the year after, there will be big demand for this master's as well, and it will become very competitive to get onto the program. So if you're thinking about taking up this program, and certainly we have plenty of applications, I'm not trying to force you, but if you're thinking about it, I would think about it sooner rather than later, because I envisage, from my experience, that a program like this, the demand is going to go up fairly significantly and quickly.
Just to add on that, Garrod, yeah, definitely we've even at the moment we've a lot of applications, and I think at a certain point we're going to have to start waitlisting or stop taking applications. This program has got a lot of interest, and I suppose in terms of people applying this year, if you have prior industry experience, that makes you a very strong candidate. And you know, let's say if you apply this year, and maybe we will probably give everyone that meets the entry requirements an interview, but let's say if you apply and if you're unsuccessful this year, I would think, and if you really want to do this program, if you can supplement your CV with industrial experience, whether it's 3, 6, 9, 12 months for your application next year, or if you have no interest in applying this year but you want to apply next year, getting that industry experience seems to be very much separating the strong candidates from the okay candidates.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, and I guess we'll take maybe one or maybe two more questions. One question in the chat function, somebody is asking about clinical pharmacy. So we don't have a full-time taught clinical master's program on campus. However, we do have an online clinical pharmacy master's, which is 2 years part-time, but it's fully online. You would do it from Vietnam, and then maybe you would be expected to come one time per year to do exams on campus. We also have clinical trials masters, which again is fully online. You would not need to come to Ireland. So they are the two options. If your background is clinical pharmacy and that's an area, the only option or recommendation I would have for you now is you would come here and maybe do a research master's. So you wouldn't really have any classes. You would work under the supervision typically of 2 academics, and you would do your master's by research. So that's the only option, unless, Evan, you have any other suggestions there, but I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I think that's very much it. In come here and do your master's by research in clinical pharmacy, or maybe, and then that might lead to opportunities in terms of PhD, but also while you're here, then that might allow you to apply for PSI accreditation, which is so if you did want to work in Ireland as a clinical community pharmacy or hospital pharmacist, by doing the research degree here, that would really give you the time and the understanding of to get to know the Irish system. So then when you need to do the qualification exams, that you'd be in a very strong position to get on the register here. So if you want to work in Ireland as a clinical pharmacist, you need to register with the PSI, so that's the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, and if you're got a degree from outside the European Union, you need to undertake an accreditation process. I'm not sure exactly what it is for Vietnam, but generally you may need to do some level of experience and internship, and then you need to sit exams. The School of Pharmacy is actually the School of Pharmacy that conducts those exams for what we call third country routes into the Irish pharmacy system. So by doing research here in UCC, you would be actually coming very close to the people that set the exams and deliver the training material. So you would make very good connections. You can't, and I'm not saying that you'll be told what the questions will be, but you'll get a very good experience, and they'll really give you a good idea what the program is all about.
Excellent. So if we'll take one more question if somebody wants to ask it, if not, no problem. And if we have one more question, anybody? No? So if not, I might just leave the closing comments to Na, and yeah, I'll pass over to you just to close off the seminar webinar.
Cảm ơn các bạn hôm nay đã tham dự buổi hội thảo giới thiệu về chương trình thạc sĩ dược của trường Đại học UCC, top 2 về dược tại Ireland và là top 66 về dược trên toàn thế giới. Và các bạn cũng đã nghe giới thiệu khá chi tiết về chương trình rồi. Hôm nay là chỉ có chi tiết về 2 chương trình thạc sĩ dược thôi. Tuy nhiên thì đây là cơ hội rất tốt cho những người xuất thân từ ngành dược, ngành công nghệ sinh học hay là công nghệ hóa học, để các bạn có cơ hội để gia nhập vào một trong những trung tâm dược của thế giới, một trong những cái medtech hub của thế giới. Và đặc biệt là ở Ireland thì là một cái nơi mà như là học sinh trước đây của em thì làm việc ở toàn những tập đoàn đa quốc gia và mức lương rất là tốt, rất cao so với cả các ngành nghề khác. Cho nên là nếu như mà mình cũng muốn có một cái trải nghiệm về làm việc cũng như là có một trải nghiệm về học tập tốt nhất, thì đây sẽ là một trong những lựa chọn tốt nhất của các bạn. Và rất cảm ơn các bạn. Các bạn có thể gửi thêm những câu hỏi đến để bên mình sẽ gửi sang cho trường và các thầy sẽ trả lời về từng câu hỏi của các bạn. Thêm một điểm nữa là ngành này nó rất cạnh tranh, cho nên là nếu như mọi người muốn đăng ký cho năm nay hoặc năm sau nữa thì mọi người hãy chuẩn bị hồ sơ rất sớm, và mọi người để ý rằng ngành này sẽ có phỏng vấn ạ. Dạ, xin cảm ơn ạ. Dạ. Thank you very much, Garrett. Thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, keep in touch.
Brilliant, guys.
Bye-bye.